Fortnite is a game I have very mixed feelings on. As fun as it can be, it's ultimately bogged down by sweaty ass lobbies and stupid ass decisions made by Epic Games. I have many fond memories playing Fortnite, but I can't ignore the game's decrease in quality over the years. I started playing in Chapter 1 Season 1 and I had a blast up until Chapter 2 Season 1. The game was just getting stale and the fact that Chapter 2 sucked wasn't helping. So, I stopped playing Fortnite. I thought I'd never play it again. But then, something happened. I saw that Chapter 3 released and said, sure, why not, and got on to see what it was like. Much to my surprise, Fortnite was actually fun again. Who knew swinging around the Daily Bugle as Spider-Man sniping people would be fun? But then, I remembered why I stopped playing. Lobbies were just so sweaty. Every lobby was filled with wannabe Frank Wrights trying to build their next masterpiece. Now, as someone who can crank a pretty sweet 90, I just don't find building fun. It isn't really fun to do or especially to play against. So once again, I stopped playing. I was nearly done forever, but I heard something interesting. Epic Games straight up removed Fortnite's main mechanic from the game. As a little small-brained man, I never expected Epic Games to do this, but in hindsight, it was the obvious move. People hate building, so remove it for a week to get people interested, then keep it as a permanent mode to keep people playing. And damn, did it work for me. I am now playing Fortnite again. And yes, I am seeking help, don't worry. But how does the removal of just one mechanic make Fortnite better? Well, let's find out. Despite the obvious change, there are some minor tweaks to the game which change how you perceive it overall. The biggest of these features is Overshields, aka the don't worry guys, I got 50 extra shield, I can do this 1v4. This works by having an extra piece of shield that charges up at the start of the game. Every time you lose it, it charges back up after a period of time. This is to compensate for not being able to build when being shot at, but in reality it's more used for charging into fights with more confidence. I think this creates a good risk-reward system for the player. On one hand, you have more shield and can take more risks with what you do, but on the other hand, every other player has overshields as well, so you still gotta play kinda smart. This adds a level of strategy that regular Fortnite doesn't have. There's probably some other small changes, but like, come on. Do you really notice that your granddad has one extra wrinkle from the last time you saw him? In no build you actually have to fucking think about where you drop, instead of just considering how many chests there will be and how populated the location is. Now you gotta think what the terrain is like. Is there transport nearby? Will you have to run out in the open for long? Is the loot in this place hard to reach? Usually none of this is a problem, because you can just build. But newsflash kid, this is the real world. D-Day survivors couldn't crank 90s against the Nazis and neither can you. I just think that having to consider many things when you drop a location is more fun than only having to consider 3 things max. Without building, you really got to fight for victory. It can get to the point where you feel like you're in a war zone, desperately fighting for your survival. Take this duos game for example. It started as all games of Fortnite do. We dropped Daily Bugle and did some looting. While trying to leave Bugle, my teammate died like the fucking dumbass he is. I barely make it away with his reboot card, but I managed to get to a reboot van and bring him back. Almost right after, we get in a fight where I got my ass kicked and my teammate had to revive me. We found a Whiplash and hit the road. We were just driving around, but then a missile started coming towards our car. Like the dumbass I am, I didn't get out of the car and started chasing a llama while leaving my teammate to do a 1v2. No surprise, he got knocked. I desperately push up the hill they were on to save my fallen ally. He dives into a bush to be safe while I revive him, but his killer is lurking around looking for us. I managed to revive him then. Boom, I was able to one-pump the enemy. His teammate comes to kill us and we make a sprint for it. We run behind a shack to heal up a little bit. We thought we had time to rest, but then we saw a fucking tank and battle bus charge across the water. I destroy the tank with missiles so no one can use it anymore, when suddenly, a player pops out of fucking nowhere and starts gunning me down. I run around the shack like a chicken on crack trying to get the jump on the enemy. I am able to do so and I land a nice 118 pump shot. Then, as all bad players do, they backed up into a bush, so I killed them. With no time to finish them, we bolt away. We could hear bullets from every direction. While fleeing we found this random player. I think he was a little lost. We put him out of his misery. We made our way up to this building, hoping to have a break from the action. But as soon as we got there, we were met with competition. I bolt inside and hop on top of a shelf to heal. But someone was there, and I didn't notice them. So I ran to the toilet to heal. But then the fucking storm came in. I saw our ride get stolen and a body fly past me. I didn't need to finish that guy, but I did. Thankfully, he had a jetpack, which gave me the speed to make it back in the circle. With battle going on in every direction, we desperately flee to Coney to prepare for the last circle. Notice that there is still 14 people left in this small ass circle. Some time passes, also known as I forgot to record, and there's 8 people left now in an extremely tiny circle. Me and my teammate are hiding in the last piece of building available, but time was running out. A duo dropped down out of nowhere and started gunning us down, but thankfully they were not good at the game, and we were. Circle closing in, low on health. Duos above us. There was no chance we were gonna win. We leave the building and look above to see the other players. The circle closed in and the other duos had to drop down. There was nowhere to hide anymore. It became a war zone. Just 3 duos battling it out in the final circle. No 90s, huts, anything. Just an all-out brawl. It comes down to me and my teammate versus a duo. But we ran into a problem. They had jetpacks and we didn't. We had to get over this ice cream place to get in the circle. As desperately as we tried, we weren't able to make it. I took it pretty well. This game was some of the most fun I've had playing video games in months. It felt like a desperate struggle for survival at each turn. But I never felt hopeless. It felt like the perfect mix of chaos and control. Let's compare this to a regular game of Fortnite. Note, this was a solos game, not duos. Like normal, I dropped bugle, killed an innocent person and left. Then I did everyone's favorite activity, farming. Boy, I sure love looking at this tree and holding down a button. I went to this building and heard someone running up behind me. I missed most my shots and I was low on health, so I went to hide. Eventually I stopped being a bitch and ran out and killed my attacker. I went around the map a little, getting 2 kills. They weren't very noteworthy. I made my way to Coney's blimp and got a jetpack. What should have been a simple kill took double the time due to building. Literally no one else was there in Coney, so I took a cannon and got out of there. I went over to Sleepy and started to get shot at. I built up to locate my attacker, but he was in a bush and I didn't want to waste ammo attacking him. So I ran away. There was a small battle going down in Sleepy and I decided that I was gonna join in. I was nearly killed, but I was able to get in a box. I covered most of my box in armored walls. Someone started to spray into my box from the one part I didn't put armor on. Oh great, look at this. I have to hold L2 until I am out of materials or this boy is out of ammo. Luckily I had one more metal wall and placed it on top of me. This was able to buy me enough time to drink a shield potion. It bought me a lot of time actually, because I had to stay in there for an entire minute or I would have died. After breaking out, I got the only kill that was fun to get the whole game. I got a little bit of time to heal up until someone else came to fight me. They weren't really a problem. I heard a tank, so I made my way over to it. I shot at the tank from afar. The driver swapped to turret and I was just barely able to kill him. You know the deal. I healed up, then someone else came to fight me. But this time I just hid. I didn't want to fight him. He eventually went away. Final circle. 4 people left. Not too bad. There was some guy firing missiles at 2 people fighting, so I went to kill him. Lucky for them, I can't aim. We got into a semi-build fight while being shot at across the lake. This is the most interesting the fights in this game got. I eventually was able to kill them. I built a stairway and looked over to see a player standing completely still, missing all their shots. You know what I think they were a bot. While I had a decent amount of fun in both games, I can point out the key difference between them. I was never not in control in the building game. I could easily choose my fights and prep for as long as I wanted. On paper this sounds like a good thing. Why the hell wouldn't you want control? But you gotta understand, after playing Fortnite for 4 years, this type of gameplay gets old. Sometimes you just wanna be put into a war zone and have to fight your way to survival, and no build delivers this in spades. I always felt at risk and that I wasn't safe. It was so much fun and very thrilling. The element of not knowing if you were safe or not was a blast. But if you can build, that element's taken away. If you're surprised attacked, you can just build to buy yourself time to prepare. While in no build you're always on edge for an attack, because you might not be able to prepare. Another thing I took notice of while editing was just how many damn cuts I had to make for the building game. At points I am practically teleporting around the place. I had to make these cuts or it would have been extremely boring. While the no-build game had nowhere near as much downtime. I believe this is because building encourages charging into fights, which leads people to die faster, therefore less people for you to fight. So, what was the point of this? Why did I make a 10-minute long video talking about a game I only sorta like when I usually make 6-second long memes? Well, I figured many people have given up on Fortnite after Chapter 2. They were like me. They thought all potential fun was lost. But Chapter 3 changed my opinion on that, and I am hoping others might rediscover the fun of Fortnite. No build was an extremely good idea, and if Epic Games keeps this up, Fortnite might become something greater.